My name is David Ondrej, and in this course I will teach you how to build and deploy AI agents. So AI agents are the next big thing. As you can see, this is the Google Trends chart for search interest over time, and it's basically growing exponentially. So there will be an explosion of AI agents in 2024. That is given. But just like the internet and the social media revolutions, most people will miss out. Luckily, I'll show you exactly what to do, step by step, to build your very first AI agents. And anyone can do this, even if you're not a programmer. Listen to Ondrej Karpathy, don't listen to me. Listen to perhaps the greatest AI researcher of our generation, and of course one of the OpenAI co-founders. So he said, I think it's very obvious to a lot of people that AGI will take the fall factor of some kind of an AI agent, meaning AI agents will be how AGI is built. This is a screenshot from a talk he gave 8 months ago on why AI agents are the path to AGI and why AI agents provide a level playing field. He said that the cutting edge is much easier to reach in the arena rather than LLMs, where companies like OpenAI and DeepMind have a huge advantage. In agents, me and you can reach a similar level as the people at the cutting edge. That's why this is such a great opportunity. The agent revolution is near, and not many people understand this. We are literally baby steps away from the explosion of AI agents and their popularity. So what is missing? What are the last few missing pieces? I believe that the great unlock will be a combination of things. Number one, better LLMs. The next generation of LLMs, whether that's GPT-5, whether that's Gemini 2.0 or Claude 4. Plus, cheaper API costs. Now, this is huge when you're building teams of AI agents because the costs can add up quickly. So, cheaper API will allow us to experiment more and, just to build more agents. And the final factor I believe is missing is simple and clean UI. Just like ChatGPT, because ChatGPT, when it started, it released with GPT-3. That was finished in 2020. ChatGPT was released in November of 2022, so 2.5 years later. Even though the technology was there, it was publicly available in the OpenAI playground, nobody was using it. Why? Because we lacked simple and clean UI, and that is the exact same issue with AI agents. There isn't a super simple UI that the average Joe can use. Now, imagine having 20 plus agents working for you 24/7. This future is much closer than you think. Okay, so what even are AI agents? It's important to define the terms. AI agents are systems designed to make decisions and take actions towards a goal. An AI agent acts on its own without needing for you to give it step-by-step instructions. Now, this is a massive paradigm shift from anything we've seen before. An agent can figure out the steps to get towards the goal. You just give it a goal. Think of them as helpful assistants or employees powered by large language models. Agents, the word agents come from the word agency. Now, the word itself derives from the Latin verb agere, meaning to do or to act. So an AI agent needs to do something. Chatbots like ChatGPT don't have agency. They cannot take action or do things. They cannot go to your PC and create a file. They cannot load up a website and do a post on there. They don't have agency. Agency is action. An agent without agency is just a passive observer, which means it's not an agent. The GPT-5 moment, and a lot of people, there's a lot of hype around GPT-5, but almost nobody actually does the thinking what it implies, especially for AI agents. LLMs, large language models, are the brains of AI agents. So more intelligent LLMs equals more useful agents, Like if you have somebody on your team that has 70 IQ, that person will probably ruin your company. But if you have a super genius with 160 IQ, you can do a lot with that. Same with LLMs. GPT-5 will have better reasoning, long-term memory, multimodality, and God knows what. I mean, we can only speculate what the emergent properties will be, but it's clear that even if assuming the jump is the same from GPT-4 to GPT-5 as it was from GPT-3 to GPT-4, we have a lot to look forward to. So as soon as it gets released, agent builders like me and you will go nuts. The development speed will be impossible to keep up with. That's why we have to start now. Now is the time to master AI agents, and again, don't listen to me, listen to Sam Altman. Once your Uber driver is talking about AI agents, it will already be too late, it's same with every technology. Like once everybody is telling you to invest into Amazon, it's already too late. Same with Nvidia lately. This is your chance to get the first mover advantage, because the only people talking about AI agents are people in the AI space. You're not gonna hear about agents from your aunt at Thanksgiving dinner. Now the PPPP framework applies here, and that basically stands for proper preparation prevents poor performance. And poor performance in this case would mean being unprepared when GPT-5 releases, not having built any agents, and being completely clueless and scrambling last minute trying to learn it. Proper preparation in this case stands for doing stuff now, being prepared for those next generation of LLMs once, the agent revolution really takes place, and being one of the people who can actually build an agent that maybe millions of people will end up using. Now this is actually what I referred to earlier, the quote from Sam Altman. So at Y Combinator W24, Sam Altman suggested people build with the mindset that GPT-5 and AGI will be achieved relatively soon. Now we can only speculate what that means, but it definitely doesn't mean a decade. It probably means like 1 to 3 years. So most GPT-4 limitations that we can find in agents today will be fixed just by GPT-5. So we don't need better frameworks, more complicated coding, none of that. Like so much stuff will be fixed purely with a better LLM. So, expect GPT-5 in 2024. That's basically guaranteed. I mean, obviously it's not guaranteed, but OpenAI has so much competition right now that they have to release the model sooner or later. So probably Q3, Q4 of this year. And AGI perhaps end of 2025, beginning 2026, we'll see. Obviously, it's impossible to predict. Now, which tasks should you actually give to your agent? Because this is one of the biggest decisions you have to make. What do you employ your AI agent to do? Current agents excel at automating tasks that are clear. This is probably the most important part, clear, simple, with a well-defined goal. So instead of giving it like something ambiguous, something, vague, like make me money, that's not going to result in anything. But if you give it something super clear, like write a detailed research paper on the latest 5 developments on archive, machine learning, AI, like something like that can produce amazing results and save you hours of work. So focus on small repetitive tasks you do every day, not these huge once in a while tasks. This is super common mistake among beginner agent builders. They want to, automate some huge task that takes multiple hours, something complicated, but instead just focus on something tedious you do every day, because that's going to have the biggest returns, and it's also probably going to be the easiest to build, right? For now, forget about these huge automations that will save you 8 hours of work. Just do something that's bothering you every day that takes 2-3 minutes. Automate that with an agent, and like that time saves up like 2 minutes a day. That like over a month, that's 60 minutes. That's an hour. Over a year, 12 hours saved. Now, it's absolutely essential to have realistic expectations and understand that current agents cannot do everything just yet. Even though they're absolutely amazing, and even though the vast majority of people are underestimating how much you can do, they can't do everything. That would be AGI. So, how are agents actually used today? Well, a lot of people have an automatic agent running 24/7 doing research for them. So, agents sitting inside of Reddit, subreddits, on Twitter, on archive, scraping for new papers. I mean, there are so many new AI and ML papers published on archive every day. It's literally impossible to read. I mean, even reading one paper is difficult, right? You can have an AI agent sifting through them, summarizing them, simplifying them, and telling you the most significant ones. And you can have that running 24/7 in the background. Huge. Software engineering, obviously. We've all seen Devin and what that can do. And agents like Devin are building, optimizing, and debugging code. And there are people working on open source version of Devin, which will be absolutely huge. Of course, customer service. This is probably the most widely used way of companies using AI agents. For example, Klarna, the fintech company, 75% of their support team are AI agents. Think about that. 75%. Over 2.3 million conversations were done between their customers and their AI agents, customer service. And the AI agents actually get better satisfaction scores than the humans, which is kind of crazy. This is a big thing you have to understand, because knowing how to do all of this is the real value. People who haven't built a single agent always assume that the end result, the finished product, is the prize, is the great reward. But it's exactly opposite. The real reward is the skill itself. It's knowing how to build and deploy AI agents. Why? Because those who master this skill will always be in demand. So become that person. Now, it's also important to understand the difference between System 1 and System 2 thinking when we're building AI agents. Now, you've probably heard of this book, Thinking Fast and Slow, by Daniel Kahneman. LLMs, like ChatGPT, are only capable of System 1 thinking, which means, this impulsive, like automatic decisions. Like you do something on autopilot, like, I don't know, doing your laundry, some like tasks like you did hundreds of times before, waking up the bed, putting clothes on. That stuff is System 1. It's fast. You don't have to, doesn't require a lot of cognitive load. You don't have to do any advanced reasoning. That's System 1 thinking. And ChatGPT and other LLMs are doing exactly that with the next token predictions. Just instantaneous, predicting the next token. Slow, strategic, methodical reasoning, which is System 2 thinking, has not been achieved in AI yet. Agents, however, are the first step towards giving AI the ability to form long-term plans and execute upon them, i.e., a step towards System 2 thinking in AI systems. Okay, perhaps the biggest excuse and reason why people don't build their AI agent is they don't know how to code. Now, I designed this course so that anyone, even non-programmers, can follow along. Now, to be honest, to be completely clear, there will be code. However, I will explain everything simply and in detail and very easily, as simply as I can. And also, members of my community will get pre-built templates and prompts linked below this module, plus direct access to me if you get stuck. So, if you want to join my community, the link is in the description. Now, expect the unexpected when building AI agents. Things can go wrong. I mean, errors, bugs, crashes, all of that happens, no matter whether you're a beginner or whether you're a senior programmer with 20 years of experience. The key is to remain calm and not get overwhelmed. Don't get too stressed, take a few deep breaths, they're OP. Stay calm, stay in control. Open ChatGPT, this is the biggest hack, and even people who know about ChatGPT still underutilize it and underestimate how much it can do, especially in the coding domain. So if you get stuck, open ChatGPT, clearly explain the problem, give it as much context as you can, and try again. Chances are, 9 out of 10 times, you will solve the issue. Also, start small. Building AI agents can be intimidating at first. I mean, it was to me for sure. The secret, though, is to start with small projects. Even stuff that might not seem anything useful. What's actually useful is you're learning, you're improving, building the skill. And you can do that on small projects, on big projects. Like every single step you take will be something you learn. Take it one step at a time and gradually add complexity and functionality. Don't skip any steps because that's just a recipe for disaster. Take it one step at a time. Build something super simple. Then make it a bit more complex. Add it some function calling, some tools, improve your prompts, do like more advanced prompt engineering, maybe try different models, try Mistral, Gemini, Claude. Over time, experiment and add complexity, but start small. As Naval Ravikant, the great investor and philosopher, always says, learn the fundamentals deeply. This is what the greatest teachers and builders follow. They don't skip to the last page of the book. They learn the fundamentals deeply and only then continue. Now, here are some popular AI agent frameworks because there's a lot. There are literally dozens of different ways to build AI agents, and every week it seems like we get a new one. So some of the most popular ones are AutoGPT. Obviously, this one was the AI agent framework that kicked things off, like the really first one that blew up. Then we had Baby AGI, then Crew AI, AutoGen, Multion, ChatDev, MetaGPT. I mean, there are so many. Now, choosing the right framework is perhaps the most important decision you can make when building AI agents. So, how do you choose a framework? You have to understand, it's not one size fits all, meaning the best framework depends on you, your level, your goals, and what exactly you want to build. Some framework requires you to be an advanced programmer, and some require no coding at all. So keep your skill level in mind. I would suggest to prioritize these three metrics. Frameworks with deep and thorough documentation, that way if you get stuck, you can solve it. Lots of tutorials, whether that's on YouTube, whether that's just in GitHub README, whether that's on blog posts, doesn't matter. Just lots of tutorials, the more the better, always. And low barrier to entry. So it doesn't require some super advanced setting up. You can get started quickly. Those are the three main things I would look at when choosing a framework. Now, personally, in this course, I'll be building with 3 different frameworks, but in the second module, which is coming after this, I'll be building with Crew AI. And why? Like, what's the reason, right? Well, honestly, there are a lot of reasons why I think this is the perfect AI agent framework for beginners. First of all, there is no complex setup. You can literally get started in a matter of minutes, which is huge. The documentation is also really solid. The project is 100% free and fully open source, which we always love, and the developers are constantly dishing out new updates, so it doesn't get stale. It's always closer and closer towards the cutting edge. Now, the future is here. It's happening right now. It's not some distant sci-fi pipe dream. The future is here, and you can be a part of it. AI agents aren't some far-off dream. The agent revolution is happening right now. Like literally right now as I'm speaking. Devin is making waves, obviously, and there are thousands of other super smart people working with AI agents. So there is literally perfect time to start. And do not get left behind. Just please listen to me. I feel like those people, when you go on YouTube and there's people for videos from 2010 begging others to buy Bitcoin. I feel like the same way right now, because 99% of people will never build a single agent in their lives. And as a result, they will miss out on this great opportunity. So let's get to building. The next module, as I said, will show you step by step how to build a simple AI agent with Crew AI. So see you there. Alright, let's build our first AI agent with Crew AI. Now, what you want to do is go to collab.research.google.com. This is the URL, collab.research.google.com. And the reason I'm using Google Colab is because it's super simple, much simpler than setting up Python, VS Code. We're going to do that in later modules, but you don't even need to do any setup. You just need to go to this URL and follow what I'm doing. Now, as you can see, I did print hello world just to test it out and connect to the runtime, but I can actually delete this cell. So it will look something like this, and we want to do a code cell. The first thing we need to do is we need to install Crew AI. So do exclamation point pip install Crew AI. By the way, if you are in my community, all of this will be linked below the module, so you can just copy my Google Colab and have it side by side. So run this, should take about 15 seconds. By the way, the q parameter makes it quiet. If it wasn't there, we would see a bunch of text flooding the Google Colab, and we don't want that. So as you can see, it's finished, took exactly 20 seconds. Now I'm going to create a new cell. By the way, keyboard shortcut for that is Ctrl+M+B, but you don't have to do keyboard shortcuts. You can just hover underneath and create plus code. And for this one, I'm going to do another package install, but this time it's going to be Crew AI tools. So Ctrl+Enter to run it. Now this one took a bit longer, as you can see, 56 seconds. One last package we need is python.env. So it's actually already satisfied. So okay, this comes within Google Colab, so you don't need to do this even. The reason I wanted that package is because environment variables contain API keys, and you should never share your API key with anybody. So click on this files on the left, this icon, folder, and you will see the files. We need to put in an environment variable. If you don't know what that is, it basically looks like this, right? And inside we need 2 API keys, the OpenAI API key and a Serper API key. And I will show you how to get both of these right now. For the OpenAI one, you need to go to this URL, platform.openai.com/API keys. Here you will sign up with the same account you're using for ChatGPT, and you need to create a new API key. Click on create new secret key. You can name it demo, whatever. Create secret key. Now, never share this with anybody. As it says, you won't be able to view it again. So you can copy this and you put it into your environment variable. So here you would go here and you would replace this, right? But basically you create an empty variable. You can use a notepad. I'm using notepad. You don't even have to use VS Code. Just name it .env, right? That's the OpenAI API key. Now we go into Serper. Serper.dev. Create account, takes literally 20 seconds. It's completely free. And this is for, we're going to be calling the Google API with Google Serper. So do this, sign up with an account and go to API keys and copy your API key. Once you do that, again, go to your .env environment variable and replace it here. Hit Control S or save. Once you have both of these in your environment variable .env, once you are in the collab, in here you drag the env file. Simply drag it. In this file, there will be the API keys, so you don't have to expose them. If you were to share this with anybody, that's fine because they don't get the files. So now that you went to both of these websites and obtained the API, which again, it will take you like 3 minutes per website, so very easy to do. The next step is to load it. For that, we use 2 simple lines. Beautiful, we have loaded the environment file. Next, we need to import OS and some stuff from Crew AI. Now that's loaded. Next, we do search tool. We assign the Serper dev tool to the search tool variable just to make it a bit more organized. Next, we need to import chat OpenAI from LangChain. Now, we're going to get into LangChain in more details in future modules. For now, just know it's a great way to connect multiple tools, multiple language models together. Now here is where the fun part begins. Here is where we start to build our agent. Copy the comment. So now we get to define our agents with roles and goals. So I'm just going to keep this super simple. That way literally anybody can follow, right? And then we use the agent from Crew AI. Inside we need a role. And this could be like senior research assistant. Okay. Next, we need to give it a goal. This could be anything. Look up the latest advancements in AI agents. The next step is to give it a backstory. This is basically a system prompt or custom instructions. Doesn't really matter what you call it. Obviously, we will optimize prompt engineering much more in later modules. Again, this is to keep it simple. Now, verbose equals true. This is whether you want your responses to be verbose, meaning long, detailed, or short. Actually, you know what, for the demonstration, it's probably better to do false. That way, it doesn't take that long. Now, this is important. Allow delegations. Now, this is one advantage that Crew AI has over other agent frameworks where delegating is like super hard to disable. In here, we can just do false, right? And the reason for that is because we want a researcher to do research. We don't want the researcher to delegate this task to another agent. Now, we give it a tool. This is really what makes agents OP. This is the difference between agent and ChatGPT. You can give your agents tool, and there are so many tools in LangChain, and Crew AI also has a bunch of them built in. We are using the search tool, which is, the Serper dev tool. Now this agent will have access to the tool and can use it, can access the web with it. Last step in defining our agent is the LLM. For LLM, I'm doing GPT-4 Turbo, but I just got that from, if you go back to OpenAI's API keys, you can click on documentation right here. You can click on models and you can choose which model you want. Obviously, GPT-4 Turbo is going to be the most powerful one, but you can use GPT 3.5 to save costs, which will be much cheaper. Now, I want to create a good agent, so I'm using GPT-4 Turbo. Temperature 0.7, which is the default ChatGPT one. You know what? Let's do a lower one. Let's do 0.3. That way, the lower the temperature, the more consistent it is, but the less creative it is. And I want it to be more accurate to the search results it gets, so I'm going to keep a lower temperature. Okay, that's good. I'm going to run this cell. Make sure to always run this cell. You need the green check marks to next to all of your cells. That way they ran. Otherwise, if you miss a cell, you're gonna run into issues. We're gonna do one more agent. This one is gonna be a writer. A researcher is gonna get the information. It has the tool. A writer doesn't need the tool. We need to make sure. I want to make sure both of our. Well, actually, this is interesting, right? So we can give the temperature 0.2 to a researcher, but to a writer we can get a bit more creative. we can maybe do 0.7, right? Why is allow delegation enabled in the writer? The reason is simple, because if it needs some info, it can tell the researcher, hey, I'm lacking info, go look it up. Okay, that's good. And then goal, summarize the latest advancements in AI agents. Okay, we can keep this, the backstory is good. We have 2 agents. We need to give them a task, because without the task, AI agent cannot do anything. The beauty of Crew AI is how simple this is. Now, if you're not a programmer, it probably looks intimidating, but you know, this is super simple. You literally do task 1 equals task, and then you type in the variables, right? So for description, it's you just describe the task. Expected output, full analysis report in bullet points. As you can see, we assigned an agent for this. And for this task, we obviously want a researcher. And expected output is how you want the output to look at, because that's what's going to be going into our next agent, which is writer. So let's run it. Now we need to do a second task. This one is going to be for the writer, and this one is different. Write a short article that highlights the most significant AI advancements. Let's do AI agent to be more specific. Now, this is the important part for Crew AI. We instantiate our crew, right? So you just do crew equals, and we do crew, and inside we need to define the agents in a list. So let's do agents equals researcher is the first one, and then writer. Now for tasks, we do the same, super simple. And we just do with task 1, task 2. Task 1, task 2. And the last thing we can decide is verbose. This is for, logging levels. I'm going to do 1. Make sure to run the cell. And the last cell is to get the crew to work. So it's very simple. We just do result equals and then crew.kickoff. I'm actually going to do 2 more lines because I want to print out the result, because if I don't do this, we don't see the result. Oops. Okay, name results is not defined. What do you mean? Oh my god, this is a basic mistake. Okay, yeah. I typed results instead of result. But it doesn't matter what you call it. You can call it results, but just make sure the variable name is the same in both fields, right? Now actually, you know what? I'm going to go back and adjust the verbose level. So I'm going to do true on both. And the reason for that is because I want you to show the thought process of the agent. Now, when you change something, you need to run the cell. Now, this is what I wanted. We can see the agent's thinking. I need to gather the latest information of advancements in AI agents as of March 2024. But basically, you can see the agent thinking, and then action, search the internet, action input, search query, latest advancement AI agents, March 2024. Then it does the research as before, and then thought. The snippets provide a good starting point, but I need detailed information to create a comprehensive analysis. And it searches again. The rise of AI agents in 2024. I now know the final answer. Agents 2024 have become capable, blah, blah, blah. You can see it right here. Working agent, professional short article writer. So before, it was the research assistant, and then you can see the task it's performing. Now we switched to the writer. Starting task using insights provided, write a short article. And then this is the writer thinking. Action, ask questions to coworker. Coworker, this is beautiful. Senior research assistant question, can you provide detailed insights to the latest blah blah blah. Entering new crew agent executor chain, does even more research. And then the output of the writer is here. So this is the short article it wrote. By the way, this was completed in a minute. And it went through like 40 different websites or something. It's like, this is, you can customize these prompts however you want. I'm just trying to show you a simple agent that anybody can build. You can literally go here and change the tasks. You want a different task, rewrite this. You want your agent to do something else, rename him, change the goal, and give him a different custom instructions. So again, this will be linked below the module for members of the new society. You can just use my Google Colab and experiment with different prompts, test it out. This is the module number 2. In future modules, we will build self-improving agents using a different, more advanced AI agent framework. Crew AI is amazing, but it's also limited. But I think it's perfect for the very first building coding module. In a matter of like 15 minutes, we got a team of agents working to do very comprehensive research. I mean, how long would it take to go through all these websites? It's kind of crazy. So yeah, this is just the beginning. Much more advanced agents to come, which is coming out on the 19th. Modules number 3 and 4 will be released, so